If you happen to own a few Japanese knives or happen to use your colleague's Japanese knives, you will probably notice that there is a line that's about 5 millimeters or a quarter of an inch above the cutting edge and runs somewhat parallel to the edge. Well, this line is called a collet line, and it is unique to a large number of Japanese knives. Believe me, your German Wüsthoffs or Henkels does not have this one. Actually, this line is the key that the Japanese knives use extremely hard steel, yet makers are still able to forge them into a thin knife. And this is the Senmai structure. Hi there, James here from Knives and Stones. You'll find Japanese kitchen knives online. Well, senmai is a Japanese word which literally translates into 3 layers. Yes, a typical Japanese double bevel kitchen knife has a senmai structure. There is a core in the middle and a softer clad on each side, resembling a sandwich with a piece of ham in the middle and 2 pieces of bread on top and at the bottom. So naturally you may wonder, well, what is the fuss about this? Well, making knives in senmai structure has been around in Japan since the 1300s.
2 distinct qualities that make the katana among the sharpest and most resilient swords ever made. The blending of the 2 metals is the next stage in the process. The hard cutting edge, high in carbon, is made from steel which is wrapped around the lower carbon content, more ductile iron that forms the heart of the blade.
Historically, Japan is an island country that lacks resources and minerals. So senmai is formed in a bid to save the valuable steel in order to make more weapons. And because of the outer soft cladding, it is also easier to make. Imagine during the old days that one have to forge the steel to basically by hand rather than with the help of machines. And the more weapon you can produce, the higher chance of winning the war, right? In the modern times, saving material is no longer the highest priority, as the cost of making senmai billets probably exceeds the cost of just getting the whole piece of steel. But why senmai is still the best choice for knife making? Well, from the knife maker's point of view, the cladded billet is definitely easier to forge. And once the knife is passed to a sharpener, the softer outer cladding can be removed a lot quicker than a hard steel. And as a result, meaning a significant savings in labor during these 2 processes. Also, because of the clad is softer after heat treatment, knife maker can easily straighten the knife should it warp or bend a little bit during the sharpening process, resulting in a lot less waste. A honyaki or mono steel knife is almost impossible to fix if it was twisted during the heat treatment, but a cladded knife is possible, thanks to the soft outer layers. And for us, the users, a senmai knife is much easier to sharpen, especially when it needs to be thinned, as you are mostly just grinding the soft clad away rather than removing the harder core steel. By the way, thinning is a very important concept that I explored in another episode, so make sure you check it out. For a lot of users who prefer the cutting feel of a carbon knife, a stainless cladding on the carbon core means a lot less to worry about rust. Senmai construction also enhances the artistics of a knife as well. For example, most of the Damascus knives that we see these days, regardless of how many layers, can really be classified as a senmai structure. Just that the single layer of the soft clad is replaced with multiple layers of different materials, typically nickel and chromium. But the principle is still senmai structure. That also tells us another fact. In a typical Japanese Damascus knife, especially the ones that you can see with a clad line, the Damascus is really there for the look only. It has nothing to do with the core steel's cutting performance. Bet you didn't know this before. Truth is, apart from the super hard to make, hence expensive honyaki knives and lower end knives with a softer steel, most better quality Japanese knives are made with senmai structure construction. As you can see, senmai construction offers such great benefits for kitchen knives, yet have you noticed that there are only senmai knives in Japan, while the US and Europe They do have exceptional steel options for knives, but they are mostly only found in small hunter and folder knives rather than kitchen knives. Just to name a few here, the most popular CPM 154 from Krusbro that you find in a lot of hunter knives, and the popular Swedish steels such as the 12C27 by Sandvik and the M390 by Böhler. There are a few individual makers try to make kitchen knives with such steels in monosteel construction, namely the whole piece of knife is a single piece of steel without any cladding. They never gained any significant momentum because it was super hard to make, first of all, therefore very expensive and very hard to sharpen for the average user. The reason that semi is only found in Japan is because the technique has been there for so long, and even today there are specialized manufacturers that makes the pre-laminated semi-billets for knife makers. One of the major players in the field is Sanyo Riki in the Miki city of Hyogo Prefecture, about 80 kilometers west of Osaka. Just last month, in April 2022, right after Japan opened its borders to foreign visitors, I was able to visit Sanyo Riki and learn how semi-billets are made. Sanyo Riki has over 100 years of history, and right after the World War II, they started making special alloy steel and tools with special shapes. At present, one of their main business is to produce the semi-billets for cutlery manufacturers and knife makers. Sanyo Riki will purchase the core steel from the actual steel maker. For example, ZDP-189 from Hitachi Special Steel in big bulky sheets, cut into smaller pieces and attach them with a stainless steel software clad, exactly like a giant metal sandwich. So why no other countries produce semi-billets? To be honest, I'm not sure. My speculation is that because of historical reasons, only Japan was able to establish such specialized billet makers. There is a great deal of local industry that is able to sustain production as well. Think of elsewhere. China probably doesn't have the know-how of making these billets. And maybe the US, Europe, they do have the good steel, but they don't have a local manufacturing to support such highly specialized business. There you go, guys. After watching this video, I'm sure that you will have a better understanding about the unique semi or 3-layer structure of the Japanese kitchen knives, as it plays a key part in its manufacturing process. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.